Years ago, when I was still trying to hang on to hope, I did everything my OBGYN suggested. One of those things was to take an injection that was available in a monthly or 90-day dose. The medication was used to dissolve fibroids. At least that was the indication for the medication. Unfortunately, one of the side effects of this medication was menopausal symptoms. I called it man-made menopause. I had hot flashes, mood swings, depression, and sadness. I believe the depression and sadness was also due to the fact that I was dealing with all of this drama in an effort to buy time while waiting to meet Mr. Right. I had considered IVF, and I made 2 attempts at adoption. But I decided against IVF for 2 reasons. It was too expensive, and my mom compelled me not to take that avenue. But God was not answering my prayers, the prayers I sent up to Him for more than a decade. I begged Him to forgive me for whatever sins I had committed. I asked Him to forgive my family for any generational curses that were causing these cursed fibroids. I bargained with Him. I begged Him for a husband. I begged Him for a child. Silence. The silence was deafening. Sometimes I would feel Him impressing upon my heart that everything would be all right. But it was not. I wanted a child. Nothing would ever be all right without a child. I never met Mr. Right. I never had the baby, and I ended up having to have a hysterectomy. Silence. Now I'm going through natural menopause. It is nowhere near as bad as the man-made menopause. I am not depressed, and I am not having mood swings, but the incessant flushing is almost impossible to bear. It feels like salt is being rubbed into the wound of everything I have had to endure. How many people do you know who have gone through menopause twice? They say God will not give us any more than we can bear, but honestly, I believe that's just a saying. I'm not whining because many people around the world, children and adults alike, are enduring unbelievable grief and sadness. As a fellow human being, I think about people around the world on a regular basis. I think about childless women. I think about abandoned and enslaved children. And I wonder what I can do to make things better for others. The fact is, although my heart is broken, it is healing. But nothing that breaks will ever be the same again. Whether we are talking about broken china, a broken leg, or a broken heart. They will never be completely brand new, but they will be functional. And the level of functionality depends on use. We can walk on a leg that was broken after it is healed. We can use broken china after it is glued. We can function with a broken heart, but it is up to us. We have to choose to function with the broken heart. There is a lot to be done in this world, and I believe we can do our part, broken and healed. Hello, and welcome to Childless Not by Choice. This podcast was created for and about the childless not by choice community on a global level. Before we get started, I would like to thank my sponsors and supporters. Thank you, Morgan Air Conditioning, Sales, Service, and Installation, serving Tampa, Florida, and the surrounding areas. Morgan Air Conditioning can be reached by calling 813-500-7765. That's 813-500-7765. Or their web address is www.morganair.net. That's www.morganair.net. Along with a stellar business reputation in the Tampa, Florida area, Morgan Air Conditioning is also known and well received for giving back to the community, whether it is back to school drives or donating services to the less fortunate. Thank you, Morgan Air Conditioning, for recognizing the vision of Childless Not by Choice and being a part of it. Next, I would like to thank Alba Digital Media for creating my website, www.childlessnotbychoice.net. That's www.childlessnotbychoice.net, and for producing this podcast. Alba Digital Media's clients include those who need website building and maintenance, as well as those like myself who require professional podcast editing. Their client base reflects many industries and levels of needs for professional assistance. To contact Alba Digital Media for your web building and podcast production needs, visit www.albadigitalmedia.com. That's www.albadigitalmedia.com. Thank you, Alba Digital Media, for making me look good and sound good. Finally, I would like to thank Devoted, the musical duo who created my theme music. Thank you, Devoted, for your beautiful music. Devoted has had the opportunity to sing and play in many countries. To contact Devoted for your music needs, visit devotedministries@gmail.com. That's devotedministries@gmail.com. And if you would like to become a one-time or ongoing sponsor, or if you would like to become a patron of Childless Not by Choice, please contact me at Sevilla@SevillaMorgan.com. That's Sevilla@SevillaMorgan.com for details. Now, on to the show. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Childless Not by Choice, where my mission is to recognize and speak to the broken hearts of childless not by choice women and men around the world. Sevilla Morgan here. I am spreading the great news that we can live a joyful, relevant, and fulfilled life, although we could not, did not, have the children we so wanted. As we continue to get started here, I want to reach out to, and say a thank you to my Patreon contributor. Patreon contributors are those who have taken an interest in my platform, whether they fit the childless not by choice demographic or not. They have decided to contribute a certain dollar amount on a regular basis to help fund my dream of creating awareness and conversation for the childless not by choice community globally. Click the Patreon link for details and to become a patron. And that Patreon link is in the show notes. Thank you to Jordan Morgan for being my Patreon patron. It is truly appreciated. Shout out to Jordan Morgan. Well, what I read to you earlier was my latest blog post dated April 2nd, 2018, entitled Rubbing Salt into the Wounds. Any leader of anything will tell you that what they are leading is not about them. Yes, many times the leader of any platform or organization will tell you that they started the organization because it was needed and it did not exist. And that is the reason I started Childless Not by Choice, also known as 21st Century Hannah. I needed help in my darkest moment and I could not find it. But another issue that comes with being a leader is there is seldom time to hurt, or at least to say that you are hurting. You just get on with the work at hand and you try to push down the pain because so many others are looking to you for guidance with their pain. And that's why you started your organization in the first place. That's why I started my organization, my platform. So we push through our pain. Some days it's harder than others, but we get relief, at least I do, when I get notifications and messages from people saying how much my platform has helped them. Like the Facebook message I received from Diana, who said, "I listen to your podcast while at the gym because it makes me feel less alone and that you are fighting my disease with me. Thank you for your time." Or LM, who said, "I have been listening to some of your talks on podcast and would like to thank you. You're making so much difference to my life. I'm not alone with the way I feel and think. You are a godsend to so many people. When I feel down, I listen to you. It picks me up. Thank you again." And these are really recent posts or messages. Diana sent me a message on April 3rd, and LM sent me her message on March 26th. So I want to thank both of you ladies for reaching out and just letting me know how much the podcast and the platform is helping you. I'm so glad that you no longer feel alone. Messages like these really keep me going. I know this is not about me. And besides, I started this platform because I knew I could not be the only one dealing with the mental and emotional pain of childlessness, not by choice. And then there are people worldwide who are much worse off than those of us in the Western world. There are childless women being divorced, cast aside, being cheated on because they cannot produce a child. Sometimes the reason for childlessness does not even lie with them, but culturally there is usually nothing they can do to address that fact. Back in September 26, 2016, at least that's the date of the episode, I did an episode called About the Children. I'll post the link to that episode here in the show notes. And then one of the books I'm reading this year is called No Longer a Slumdog by K.P. Yohannan. I keep thinking about the children worldwide who are bought and sold like property, their bodies being used and abused. And honestly, I ask God on a regular basis where He is in all of this. And I keep wondering why I think so much about the children, like the episode about the children, or the fact that the 12 books that I chose for this year, one of them, No Longer a Slumdog by K.P. Yohannan, is just really affecting me. Some may say it is because I am childless. But to anyone who says that, my response is, nothing in this life is that easily figured out. Sorry, wrong answer. I would venture to say that it is hard to look the other way with the level of technology available to just about anyone. These days, I get pollen count notifications on my smartphone every morning. I receive local news notifications all day. And no matter where in the world we are, we can know and hear about breaking news immediately, worldwide. We get to see the disturbing and heartbreaking pictures on TV of people hurting all over the world. No, it's not because I'm childless. It is because I'm being compelled to do something. Everyone who gives to a charitable cause is being compelled to do something. Everyone who donates their time on weekends to a charity are being compelled to do something. So, what's wrong with me or any other childless woman being compelled to do something? No, that answer, that maybe it's because I'm childless, will not work. I will keep you posted on what I can do from my little place in the world once I figure out what that is, because I am being compelled. So, as I said at the end of my blog post, we have to choose to function with the broken heart. There is a lot to be done in this world, and I believe we can do our part broken and healed. Is my heart broken? Why, yes, it is. My life did not work out the way I expected it to. The Child is Not by Choice women in the Child is Not by Choice with Sevilla Morgan Facebook group will tell you the same thing. Childlessness, failed IVF, failed IUI treatments are not what they bargained for. Family members who leave them out of birthday parties and holiday affairs is not what they bargained for. Being happy about yet another baby announcement while they die another death internally, and not due to jealousy. Hear me, please. It is not jealousy. It is the sadness for what did not happen for us. We can feel both. It does not have to be one or the other. It is spouses asking, why can't you just be happy for so-and-so when they see you crying yet again? It is being misunderstood. It is the refusal to believe that if you should not say to someone whose loved one just died, why can't you get over it already? Then you cannot and should not say it to a woman who will never have a child. What can you do, you ask, to help the Child is Not by Choice woman live a life she did not ask for? Walk along with her, with us, and help us learn how to choose to function with the broken heart, to do our part, broken and healed. Well, thanks a lot for listening to episode 84. Yes, this is episode 84. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, like I said earlier, I love to hear from listeners, and that's what keeps me encouraged and keeps me going, because it's tough to maintain a platform where you're dealing with heart issues on a regular basis. And I am not complaining. I believe, as I always say, that this is my life's work. I can't imagine myself doing anything else when it comes to this type of platform, this type of reaching out and helping and assisting in this world. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I really appreciate the fact that you've tuned in once again. Please keep in mind that my contact information is in the show notes as well. So you can reach out to me via Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and just know that I will respond to you typically in 24 to 48 hours, sometimes sooner. If I'm sitting at my computer and I get a notification and I can answer right then and there, I will. I usually do. But there are times when I will need 24 hours at least to respond. So please feel free to reach out. I love to hear from listeners. And again, remember, this podcast is for everybody. It's not just for the Child is Not by Choice demographic. It's for and about the Child is Not by Choice demographic. But if you do not fit the demographic and you've learned something or heard something that's really just resonated with you, please, I'd love to hear from you. So check out the show notes. All of the information that you need for every episode is in the show notes. Sometimes I add articles of note, and I definitely add links whenever I am doing an episode with research so that you can see where I got my information from. So please do check out the show notes. Thanks again for listening, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.